back in the day when I first left in 97, there was no social media, and I mean none. There was, if you had a publicist, you had to pay a lot of money. So one publicist that I had at one point, Lizzie Grubman is her name. She's awesome, one of the biggest in the business. But I paid her $5,000. When I paid that first $5,000, I was shocked. I was like, Lizzie, you're not doing enough for me for 1 month's worth of work for $5,000. So I couldn't afford to keep her.
Okay.
And she really couldn't do much in that time. So we parted ways. But you got to have a lot of money to be able to keep a publicist. And like I said, we were getting paid 2 cents a record. So I didn't have the money to be able to use the platforms that were available at that time to speak my truth. Now, with these platforms today, I'm telling all of my truth. And I was also told by my team, Dawn, wait until you have a new record out. Wait until you have a few hits under your belt. Then you can tell your story. So I kind of kept it to myself. And Cindy, Terry, and Maxine were out there saying, Maxine admitted this. She's like, Dawn, we told the press that you were being a diva, that you left in Vogue because you were being a diva. And I was like, when I left in Vogue, I did another group. So if I was being a diva, why would I do another group? If I was a diva, I'd be on my own. Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know why you lied to the press. She's like, we were angry at you. I'm like, why were you angry at me? I was only trying to make sure that we got our just due. I wasn't speaking for Dawn Robinson personally. I was speaking for the whole group to make more than 2 cents a freaking record. You guys should have had my back because I was saying the right thing. We're not making the bulk. We're doing the bulk of the work, and we're not making the lion's share of the money. And that made no sense to me. None.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, talk to me about the word diva, just because sometimes it gets a negative connotation. And a lot of times, especially when it's directed towards you, it's like, oh, she's a diva. But I feel like you took the word and really kind of reconstructed it and used it as positivity.
Yes. Thank you so much. Well, when we first came up with that name, at first we had a name called For You. So the number 4 and the letter U. So For You. Okay. Oh. It's typical, but it wasn't something that stuck out to us like, wow, that's so different, or it has a thing to it. You know what I mean? It was just For and You. And it was like, okay, that's typical. Or there's 4 of us and we're for the people. So For You.
Oh, that's nice.
So
okay.
Our producer came up with the name Vogue. I want to say he was getting his hair done with his barber. And he's actually, the barber is the guy that took over for Raphael for the Tony group. So his name is William. But William named himself for stage. He named himself Amar. And Amar was like cutting Denny's hair. And he said, Denny, why don't you name them En Vogue? Like he gave them the EN on the front because we checked the name and it was taken by somebody else. So we couldn't use Vogue by itself. He was like, you know what? That has a thing to it. So when we go overseas, it's actually On Vogue. Because they don't say En Vogue, they say On Vogue. And it was a perfect name for us. And it really worked. To me, the name En Vogue put us up on a pedestal in a sense. It gave us a sense of class. And we were named after Vogue magazine. Like, you can't get better than that. But it also put us in a genre of, we always had to look the part. Our makeup, hair, and wardrobe had to be on point. So we would get to award shows and we're looking at the guys from Pearl Jam or what was it? Red Hot Chili Peppers came in. I remember they did their sound check. And then when it came time to do the show, they had on the same the clothes that they came in off the street.
Wait, they didn't even do an outfit change? It wasn't even a rough draft?
They weren't spending their money on wardrobe like we were. We have the pressure of being Black women. Of course, we got that stigma of we got to be sharp, you know what I mean? And we have to have our hair and makeup and all that stuff. Plus, we were named after a Vogue magazine. So that pressure was even more enormous. It was like, and we spent a bulk of our money. If anything was made, it went to wardrobe, hairstylist, makeup artist, this image that we had to uphold. You know what I mean? It was a little bit rough, but I wouldn't trade that for nothing. I think our name still to this day is like, it's so iconic and so classy, you know?